What's Oprah?
You are Gayle King.
Hold on.
So now we have Gayle King behind the camera, y'all. And I'm getting ready to do my Robert Kelly interview. I'm tired of this! I'm tired of this, man! Y'all kidding! Y'all like my sexy pajamas? This is actually supposed to be like a regular outfit. I was a little nervous. I would wear it without hesitation in China, but I was a little nervous about wearing it in the States because I'm like, people are gonna just think that I just hopped out of bed and was like, oh, this is sexy. I'm lazy, but this is sexy. All right, hey guys, it's Karina again. I am not in the land of milk tea and dumplings. I know I always say, it's Karina again, coming to you from China, but I'm not in China. That's right. I am back home in the States. I'm in America. So feels good to be home. I'm only gonna be here for a month before I go back. In China, they're actually celebrating Chinese New Year. And even though most people would want to come to China to celebrate Chinese New Year, I wanna go home. So as you can imagine, I always have people asking me questions about life in China and teaching abroad. So I thought it would be good for me to actually do a video and answer some of those questions because I get a lot of questions about teaching abroad. Like, how much do you make? What are the benefits? How did you decide to move to China? What do you need to become a teacher abroad? And so today I'm actually going to be answering all of those questions. So I actually have a surprise guest who will be asking me the questions, and then let's see if it will be short-lived. If he annoys me, and then yeah, it will be short-lived. So we'll see. First question, how did I hear about teaching in China?
So how did you hear about teaching in China?
So how did you know? You're so aggressive with me. I am.
Flowing, but you just go
Yeah,
with the question.
okay.
All right, so in terms of the questions that we gathered up, one of the first ones was, how did you hear about teaching in China?
How did I hear about teaching in China? So basically, boom, check it. So I was actually working at my previous job, which is, I will always love this role or this job because they approved me working from Thailand. And when they approved me working from Thailand, I actually met this young lady who was working as a teacher in Vietnam. And so while we're hanging out in Thailand, she's just like, you know what? You could do this too. And I'm like, no, I can't. I have no international experience. And she's like, neither do I. You just need a bachelor's degree. And I was like, wait, I have a bachelor's degree in English. This could work. And so when I got home, she gave me some websites. And I'll actually link some of the websites below if anyone's interested in learning more about teaching. Just look in the description box. So that's how I got started with learning more about, teaching abroad. So some people tell me that they've done some weird stuff like going through recruitment agencies and they've paid like $600 or $1,200 to get a recruiter to actually find them jobs. I went right on Google and just Googled international teaching jobs or foreign teaching jobs. And they pop up and then you just screen them and it's very easy.
Out of all the places, why did you choose China?
Why did you read like this? Of all the places, why did you choose China? So the reason why I chose China is because I love to travel. And so before moving to China, I was traveling, but it was domestically. China is a very big international hub. And so it's much easier to travel around Asia when you're in a major hub. Also, when it comes to the pay, because I ain't going nowhere if pay ain't included. So when it comes to the pay, Middle East is the cream of the crop when it comes to the teaching world. And then China, and then I would say South Korea, and Japan, they're second and third. But China is very good. So that was one of the reasons why I chose China.
Okay, we get that. So, in China, which cities would you recommend, or even, internationally, what cities would you recommend? And
it depends on your personality and what you're looking for. So if you're interested in a bigger city, like if you're interested in a New York or in LA, then you might want to go with Shanghai or Beijing or a tier 1 city. China actually bases their cities in like a tier level. Those are tier 1s. Those are where you're going to get everything that you could imagine in a bigger city. You'll get that in a tier 1 city. If you're looking for a more reserved city, then you might want to go with like a Suzhou or a Nanjing, where they're bigger cities, but they're not as Western as Shanghai or Beijing. And then some people, they're just like, I'm tired of seeing Americans, I'm tired of seeing foreigners, and they just go to the hills. Like, legit. They have mountains and hills where foreign teachers are the only foreigners, and they're just pleased. So it just depends on what your interests are.
Okay, that's great. So I feel like I fit the description. I know English.
Okay, Gayle.
So what do you need? What do you need to teach in China?
All right, so what do you need to teach in China? You need a bachelor's degree, you need
A TOEFL.
Gayle, is it my time or is it your turn? You'll need a TEFL, a TEFL, which is your Teaching English as a Foreign Language Certificate. And that's all you really need. You don't even need teaching experience. Like, so many people are like, I don't have any experience. You don't need any. I had no teaching experience. I didn't even have experience working with kids, y'all. It was just, I had my bachelor's degree and then I got a TEFL. Katie, who was the girl I met in Thailand who told me about this, she went on Groupon and actually got a TEFL certificate program for $39. So I went through the same one. It's actually called Full Circle, and I'll link it below with the coupon that you guys can use. But it was $39. So if anyone tells you you need to pay $400 or $500 to get your TEFL, nah. You can go right on Groupon, get that TEFL certificate. It's self-paced. So it took me about 2 weeks to complete. But you could probably complete it in a day if you have nothing to do, if you don't have a job. So you can do that, get your TEFL, and then you can start looking for jobs.
Is it easy to save money? And how are your living expenses?
All right, is it easy to save money? Yeah, it actually really is very easy to save money in China. Especially, I'm not even gonna say especially if you're actually paying attention and trying to save. Even if you're not trying to save, you can save money because, and that's actually one of the questions too I'll answer later on. But when it comes to your housing, the school is paying for your entire housing. Most schools. You do not want to go to a school where they're just like, no, we're not going to give you a housing allowance, or we're not going to help you find an apartment or pay for it. You want to go to a school where they're paying for your housing. So my school pays for my housing. They pay for my Wi-Fi. My gas and my electricity bill is about $20-$30 a month. So that's basically my living expenses. But I can say between $1,500 to $2,000 USD every month. And that's me not even trying to save. But this year I'm trying to save, so probably a bit more.
Does that give you the time to travel to other places around China?
Yeah. So I haven't traveled much around China because I've been traveling to different countries. But you can. I've been to Beijing, Nanjing, Guangzhou, Changzhou, Hangzhou. A lot of the Suzhou, I lived in Suzhou. So it's nothing for you to just jump on a train and take a weekend trip somewhere, or even jump on a plane and in an hour or two you'll be in another city enjoying yourself. So you can always travel, which is one of the reasons why I did move to China.
And I mean, just to recap, what other countries have you been besides China to travel to?
So since being in China, I've been to the Philippines, South Korea, Malaysia, Indonesia, Dubai, which is UAE. Dubai is not a country. Egypt, Greece, Italy, Portugal, Myanmar was the one I went to recently. Yeah, so since last year, I've been to 10 different countries.
Wow, that's amazing. So the question is, like, what is the salary and some of the benefits of your job teaching in China?
When you're talking to these schools during the interviewing process, one thing I do like about interviewing with schools is you negotiate. You don't settle. Like, even though people are like, well, I don't have experience, so I need to, just take whatever they give me. There are so many schools in China and in Asia that are interested and need foreign speakers or foreign teachers. So you do not have to settle. The minimum when it comes to China, and I'm talking specifically for China because that's where I live, the minimum that I would agree to is $16,000 with no experience. Like, now if they said $16,000, I'd just be like, well, maybe you need to find you someone who will take that. But coming in $16,000 I think is good. They'll also help you with your airplane tickets. That's one of the things you need to negotiate. It's not just about salary, it's about the benefits as well. So you need to make sure you have a flight package where they're willing to pay for you to come to China and then go back. Housing, like I said, either they need to provide housing or they need to provide a housing allowance. So that's what they need to be doing. That's the benefits. Trying to think about what else. Health benefits.
Yeah.
Health benefits. That's another thing. There are a lot of schools where they'll just say, oh, well, we can't provide health benefits. You need to go to a school where they provide you with health benefits. And yeah, it's not going to be worldwide, and it will mostly be mainland China. The health benefits that I have through my school is for all of Asia. So that's good. but you need to make sure that you're covered when it comes to your insurance. Even though I went to the hospital, I think my 3rd month I had keratitis. I put a bad contact in my eye and I was blind, and it cost me about $15-20, my medication included, and that was without insurance. So without insurance you should be fine, but you never know what can happen. You might break a leg.
So I mean, you can negotiate anything out there, you say?
Yeah, I think so.
And you said, what's the minimum salary that you accepted?
My first year I was okay with 16,000 RMB. So I think,
which is,
oh yes, 16,000 RMB. I didn't do the 16,000 RMB. I would say 16,000 RMB is, I will just write it right here. I can't remember. Don't make me lie.
Nah, no problem at all.
No problem.
What type of teaching program are you with? What do you actually do, kind of in detail?
Okay, so when I talk about teaching programs, right, I always tell people there are different layers. So you have private schools, so it's just like here, privately owned. Then you have training schools. Those are the schools that are not regular schools. They're like after school programs. So they're gonna usually work you on the weekends and after regular school is out. You have international schools, and they're mostly for passport holders. Those are probably gonna be the higher grade and higher paying positions. However, you won't actually work. I was at an international school last year, and the reason why I left is the pay was good, but I had to work. I don't wanna work. I didn't move to China to work. So so private schools, international schools, and then training schools. I work now with a private school. It's a bilingual school, which I love too, because it's not all of the pressure that you have at other schools where they're just like, you have to do this, you have to speak in English. It's a bilingual school, which means that these parents understand that learning other subjects is as important as learning English. So you go to some programs or some schools and they're just like English, and the kids are not learning anything else, but it's so much pressure. So going to a private school that's bilingual, it takes the pressure off of being an English foreign teacher. So I like that.
When you got there, did the school help you set up anything, or how did that process start?
Yeah, that's another thing that I love about moving abroad and with teaching is most schools will actually prepare certain things for you. When you're negotiating with the school or you're talking with the school and interviewing, you need to make sure that the school is going to help you with like setting up your bank account, setting up a Chinese phone account. I told you the housing stuff. When it comes to housing, sometimes they won't have the apartment for you in advance. They also will, they're supposed to help you with either a hotel until your apartment is ready. And so one of the most important things is banks, because when you go to some banks, there's no one speaking English. Like, yeah, I have Bank of China. Yeah, so I have Bank of China. So there is usually an English speaking person there, but there are some banks where it's just like, Shema, Dong. And then you sitting there and you really don't know what they talking about. They don't know what you're talking about. And the end result is you don't get a bank. you don't get a. If y'all can see these reactions that he's doing right now, that's why I keep laughing. So then you just don't get a bank account. So the school, because they speak Chinese, they need to be assisting you with that to make it easier on you, especially since you're new and you're going to need a lot of help.
All right, so I'm assuming a regular school day here is 7-8 hours, and then 5 days a week. What's your schedule out there? Do you get any days off? How does that work?
Good question.
Okay.
It's actually an extension to what I wrote down. So that you really are Gayle King. You killing it. Because I remember that question being very simple.
Listen, hire me. I get it all done.
So basically, when it comes to days off, I work at a bilingual school, like I said, so I get weekends off just like here, Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays. We don't get as many holidays as they do here in America, but we do get some holidays. Like we get a whole week off in October, we get 2 days off in September. Some schools will give you off for Christmas. My last school, I got 10 days off for Christmas. This year, I didn't get any days off for Christmas, but I got 4 days for New Year. And then they give you a whole month for Chinese New Year. And then it's just, you have to look at the different schedules. They'll provide you with a schedule. But yeah, I get Monday through Friday. I work Saturday and Sunday, I'm off. And then also my daily schedule, I work from 8:30 to 12. and then I can do whatever I want because, like I said, it's a bilingual school. So my Chinese co-teacher is then coming in and teaching the kids Chinese or lessons in Chinese. And then I can go wherever I need to go or get some work done or sleep, whatever. And then I can come back at 4 o'clock because, of course, the parents do want to see the foreign teacher sending the kids home. So I do have to come back. But my last school, my kids had nap time, which I loved. It was like a 2-hour nap in the middle of the day. So it was lunch and then the 2-hour nap. So it was like 3 hours to myself. I could do whatever I want. I would go grocery shopping and stuff, y'all. But this school, the kids don't nap. So
these kids don't sleep.
They don't sleep.
Hey,
so
listen, that's why they beating us up right now. Be honest with you. So okay, the time difference there. So when you out there, you don't get to communicate with people out here. Like, how do you stay in contact? What's the best thing to download to keep in contact with people? Afar.
Oh, so I have a Skype number, and my Skype number is like $4.99 a month, so $4.99 a month. And so what happens is people can just call it like it's a regular. You definitely don't because you can FaceTime me. You have an iPhone.
Okay.
So when people have, let me just make this clear. When people have iPhones, they don't need that number because they can FaceTime you. It's FaceTime, so they don't have to worry about that. People who don't have iPhones, like a grandma or a mom who they're not tech savvy, they can then use that landline number. So they can just pick up the phone and call whatever. I'm gonna give y'all the phone number. They could just call it, and it just comes straight to my Skype number, and I can talk. But if you're doing interviews and stuff, you want to download WeChat. Yeah, Skype definitely. WeChat is just like the main source of communication in China. Alipay, which is how it's like an alternative. But if you have WeChat and Skype, you're good to go.
I mean, perfect. So we should be good being communication. So, I mean, what makes you passionate about living in China, teaching in China?
Just every day is an adventure. Like, the other day, y'all, I had a security guard who hit on me. Like, that's an adventure in itself, like a Chinese security guard. You're minding your business, and he can't even speak English, but you can tell that he is trying to talk to you in a way that he should not be trying to talk to you.
He's seen that. He's trying to climb a tree.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, Rell, come say hello. Come say hello.
Hey, man. We appreciate y'all for coming on today. All right? First episode. We back at it, family. Hey, man, tune in next time. It's the reunion. We out here.
We're not even done, but...
Oh, not done?
No, there's more questions.
All right, we go back to my other question.
Thank you, Gayle.
Well, what do you enjoy most about teaching in China? I didn't even see that question. That was, that's Gayle.
Yeah.
That's long, yo. I thought the question was done.
What do I enjoy most? New experiences, building friendships. I know that's one of the reasons why people are a little hesitant is they don't know if they'll have a support system. So networking and meeting other people who love to travel, and I just enjoy living and traveling abroad. I think I foresee myself staying here for maybe 1 or 2 more years. I think there's so many opportunities out here, especially for people of color, because we look so different. I'm modeling for a wholesale company, and I'm finding other opportunities to advance in my career. And I think that's one of the cool things about living abroad is that you have all of these opportunities that you might not really get the chance to obtain being in America.
How was it going out there alone by yourself, making that journey?
Yeah.
That's something that a lot of people wouldn't be able to do. Scared to do.
Yeah, so that was the difficult part. Like when my job let me go to Thailand, I was there, but it was only for a month, and I was with a group. I didn't know them, but it was like groups of people from all over America. But when I got there when I first got there, I was so nervous. And I always tell people this too, like, look online, look for networking opportunities so you can cultivate these relationships before you even move over there so you don't feel as lonely. I joined this Facebook group. It's called Brothers and Sisters of China, and it's just people of color who are living and thriving in China, and I got all of the information I needed. I was able to ask them about the different schools I was interested in, and they were like, don't choose that school, or choose that school, or this is why you should choose that school. And it was just very, very helpful and beneficial. So I always encourage people to actually do some research. Sometimes we want to take a leap of faith, and I believe in stepping out on faith, but I also believe in using common sense. And sometimes common sense is not too common, but it needs to be.
Any fine Chinese men in your life? All right, next question. But yeah, so that's all I got. I appreciate you diving into the Chinese experience and how it is to kind of travel and teach abroad. You know, we can't wait till the next adventure, Karina Worldwide.
And come on in, ladies and gentlemen, Gayle King.
Hey, Karina, I thank you for coming out. I appreciate your time today. Hopefully, we have you more on our show.
Right.
When we come back to the States, we're going to chop it up and get more in, yo. Thank you.
How can they find you?
And they can find me on
He's
Instagram.
like, thank you, goodbye.
Yeah, Return of the Lost King, Rell Knight, the Forex trader, the international boy, the humble king. You know, let's get this money, yo. 2020 is your year. Include the vision.
He's a rapper by night, just so you guys know, just in case you didn't. He's not.
Motivational speaker.
Yeah, he's a motivational speaker.
But we getting that bread, though. That's what we doing out here.
Yes, but if you have any questions, any more questions, feel free to comment below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. It sounds like a voicemail. But anywho, until then, I'll see you guys. Thanks for tuning in. You can follow me on Instagram. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Bye.
To stay updated on what's going on in Karina's world, please click the subscribe button. Don't forget to like and share. Ciao.